just to kind of fill you in on how it works and how to run it and things like that. Obviously, you're totally welcome to adapt it and make it work however you want, but this is just something which will hopefully just fill in any gaps in case I can't make it to one of your classes, or if someone's just shared this with you just so that you have some ideas on what on earth to do in a music lesson. It's been designed so you can basically just run the videos, and I do most of the work, and all you need to do is just monitor it. This is designed for classes of ukuleles or classes of guitars, but obviously you can do this on any instrument. So when I'm talking about fret numbers, I'll try and include a reference to the actual note names as well. I'll do it starting on the note of G, which means it's in the key of C. Basically means it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. They're the only notes in it. Anyway, there's 4 parts to this melody, and I'm going to walk them through the very first one. And then the second one is where they start actually guessing and working them out, and they get progressively more challenging as they go on. The important thing is that when they're guessing, for the second line, for example, they have to get 2 notes correct. But if they only get 1 note correct, don't tell them which note they got correct. Just tell them that they got 1 of them correct. By doing this, it stops them being able to just use process of elimination to keep guessing. And when they do guess, because some of them will cheat, make sure that they are actually playing these notes, that they are actually able to produce them. Because what some kids will do is they'll just guess and hope that they're right. And obviously they're not actually learning anything from doing that. We want to make sure that they are. The other thing is that with the kids who get it right, now some kids might get it right quite quickly, some will take a bit longer. I would say you can probably move on to the next line by the time you're at, probably about 5 or 6 of them have got it, depending on the class size and everything. And you can judge these just by how long it all takes. But what you can do is, for those people who have actually worked out what the notes are, they can become secret keepers. You can also do prizes, of course, like dojos or Haribo or whatever. But they can then be the secret keepers, which then means they're doing your job. So when the kids put up their hands and go, I think I've got it right, miss, or sir, or whatever, instead of you going to them, you've then got a couple of helpers who can do that, because what will happen is that they'll sit there, they'll struggle with it for the most part, unless there's always a smarty pants, but generally speaking, it will take a little while and it will kind of trundle along, and then suddenly a few more and more of them will get it, and you'll end up with 1 or 2 with their hands up to about 10, and that becomes quite hard to manage. So if you have these secret keepers, they then can kind of do your job, so then they can go over and go, yeah, you got 1 of them right, 1 of them's not right, I can't tell you which one, tough. That works out quite nicely. The third line of it, I've taken out 3 notes, I believe. If you need to, because some of them will struggle to do this, give them the first note, which it will be 12th fret or a high G, depending on which one, whether it's ukulele or just standard notation. If by doing that, it will help them, because once they know where that high octave is, then working out the next few shouldn't be too much trouble. But it gives you that flexibility. So if it takes a little while to kind of get the class going, you could give them that just so that you can get through it and see if you can get through the whole song, or you can kind of keep it back if it's just going a little bit too quickly. In the same way, potentially you can miss out more notes if you want to, but you'd have to sort of slightly plan that in advance. And then the final line has what I call a trap in it, which is that I've removed one of the notes, which is actually exactly the same note as the one you just played. And generally it's human nature that they will guess every other note under the sun, apart from the note they've just played, because they assume if it's something which they don't know, that it must be really complicated, and obviously it's not. And it's just easy just to remind them that you can get tripped up and overthink things. I think that's the main points which are there, and it's a really fun lesson to do, and obviously you can totally make it your own and do whatever you want with it. But I'll put these videos together as a playlist, and then obviously you can just basically hit play it, and I'll tell you when to pause, and I'll give you a heads up when I'm about to tell you to pause, things like that, so that it should be relatively easy to run, even if you have never played an instrument in your life, even if you have no idea what's going on. Anyway,